We often forget that the hands that once cleaned our messes when we were children. What happens when a mother's selfless love is answered with cold greed? Today's story will leave you in tears and make you question the true meaning of family. Welcome back to our channel, friends. Today we have a deeply emotional and eye-opening story. Listen till the end, and if it touches your heart, leave a like and share your thoughts. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Sarah's back throbbed with a dull, persistent pain as she wiped the sweat from her forehead. She had been standing in the sweltering kitchen for hours, preparing a lavish meal. In the living room, her eldest son and his wife, Angela, were watching a movie. Hoping for just a moment of connection, Sarah slowly walked in. She tried to sit beside them on the sofa to rest her aching legs. Angela immediately scowled, her nose wrinkling in absolute disgust. "What is wrong with you? Can't you see we are sitting here?" Angela snapped coldly. "Your clothes are completely soaked in sweat and you smell terrible. Go sit somewhere else. How are we supposed to enjoy our movie like this? We work tirelessly at the office all day and we only get these 2 hours of peace. I've told you 100 times, once your chores are done, go straight to your room." Sarah's son didn't defend her. Instead, he rolled his eyes in sheer annoyance. "She's right, Mom. We're exhausted. Why do you always have to irritate us?" Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she softly pleaded with her son. "You are out all day. I just want to sit and talk with you for a few minutes. It gives my heart a little peace," she whispered, her voice breaking. Her son scoffed. "Talk about what, Mom? What do we even have in common? My wife and I barely have time for each other, let alone you. Go rest in your room and stop hovering around us," he commanded harshly. Without another word, the couple got up and slammed their bedroom door shut. Sarah stood there, frozen, as the tears finally spilled over her wrinkled cheeks. She remembered how she used to clean their messes when they were babies. She never once felt disgusted by them when they were helpless infants. Now, her son was a big officer, and sitting next to his mother felt like a disgrace. Covering her face with her trembling hands, she wept silently in the living room. Her mind drifted back to happier days, a time when her world was full of love. Her late husband, Arthur, had been a highly respected and wealthy bank manager. They had built a beautiful, bustling family with 3 sons and 3 daughters. Life was perfect as the children grew up, settled in careers, and got married. As Arthur approached retirement, he eagerly planned a grand European tour. He had spent his whole life working, neglecting vacations to provide for them. But fate had a cruel twist waiting for them on the day of his retirement party. Surrounded by family, friends, and colleagues, Arthur suddenly collapsed mid-speech. By the time the ambulance reached the hospital, he was tragically gone. The family was shattered, but Arthur had been a wise and deeply caring husband. He had left a vast fortune, life insurance, and savings, all in Sarah's name. After Arthur's death, Sarah poured her time into helping her daughters-in-law. Angela, the eldest, was a school teacher who was obsessively strict about the house. Sarah would wake up at 4 in the morning to clean the entire house. She cooked, packed lunches, and got her grandchildren ready for school. But instead of gratitude, she was treated like an unpaid, unappreciated servant. Angela had laid down brutal rules. Sarah wasn't allowed to visit neighbors. She wasn't even allowed to offer a cup of sugar to anyone in need. One day, their neighbor Anna came urgently asking for a little tea powder. Terrified of Angela's wrath, Sarah hesitated but eventually gave it to her. When Angela returned and noticed the missing tea, she screamed at Sarah, "Is this a house or a charity shop? I told you never to give our things away." Sarah swallowed her tears, feeling completely trapped in her own home. She thought about moving in with her second son, but he was even more heartless. At least here she could see her grandchildren, so she endured the humiliation. The breaking point came when Angela's sister announced a sudden visit for dinner. Angela ordered Sarah to prepare a massive feast, biryani, curries, and fried breads. Exhausted, Sarah whispered, "My legs and back are aching. I've been working all day." Angela scoffed. "If you can't work, why are you living here? Go to your other sons." Humiliated, Sarah dragged herself to the kitchen, only to find the oil tin empty. The milk on the stove had gone bad, and the local shops were closed. When she nervously told Angela, the daughter-in-law exploded in a fit of rage. "Go beg the neighbors for it. I don't care how you do it, just get it done." Sarah knocked on several doors, but no one helped her, knowing Angela's nature. Finally, she went to Anna, the neighbor she had once been forced to turn away. Anna immediately gave her the oil and milk, looking at Sarah with deep pity. "Your husband left you so much wealth, Sarah," Anna sighed sorrowfully. "Yet your children treat you worse than a maid. Wealth doesn't buy respect." Anna's words struck Sarah like lightning, waking her up from her slumber. She realized her silent suffering was only making her children more arrogant. 4 days later, Sarah called a meeting with all 3 of her sons and wives. She looked at them with a newfound fierce determination in her tired eyes. "I am getting old. I cannot walk much, and I will no longer do your chores," she declared. "Hire a maid. I have stayed silent to keep the peace, but I can't bear this. I have decided to donate all my wealth to the poor and move to an old age home." The children and their wives gasped, the color completely draining from their faces. They had always assumed the massive inheritance would quietly fall into their laps. The thought of losing millions to charity sent them into a sudden, desperate panic. "Mom, how can you say that?" her youngest son cried out, faking deep hurt. "If you go to a nursing home, society will spit on our faces." The other sons quickly nodded, suddenly treating her like fragile glass. "We love you, Mom. We will take turns keeping you for 4 months each. You will never have to lift a finger again. Our wives will serve you like a queen." Sarah looked at them coldly. "If I face even a single problem, the charity gets everything." "Never, Mom, we promise," they chorused, practically begging at her feet. As they left the room to make arrangements, a small, knowing smile played on her lips. "They changed their colors faster than a chameleon," she whispered to herself, "but they won't get a single penny of my money. I'm done being used." From that day on, Sarah's life completely transformed into one of luxury. Her daughters-in-law massaged her feet daily and cooked her favorite meals. Her sons sat with her every evening, pretending to be interested in her stories. But deep down, they were all just waiting for her to die to claim the wealth. What they didn't know was that Sarah was secretly building something beautiful. She had taken all her money and quietly established a massive trust foundation. It was dedicated to abandoned elderly people, orphans, and destitute women. She spent her remaining years managing the trust, finding true happiness. Because of her healthy routine and inner peace, she lived a long, healthy life. Her children grew frustrated, secretly cursing her for living so beautifully long. But they kept their masks on, terrified of losing the golden ticket. Finally, one peaceful night, Sarah went to sleep and simply never woke up again. When her children found out, they barely shed a single genuine tear. After rushing through her final rites, they eagerly gathered around her iron safe. They practically tore it open, expecting stacks of cash, gold, and bank books. Instead, the locker was completely empty save for a single envelope. Trembling with anticipation, the eldest son opened the letter and read it aloud. "My dear children, I am leaving you this house as payment for your services. I sold everything else your father left me, the gold, the stocks, the balances. I used it all to establish a trust for the poor and the abandoned elderly. I knew your sudden love was nothing but a greedy act to secure my wealth. You treated me as a burden, so I decided to lift that burden permanently. This house is your only reward. You will not get a single penny more. My time is over, but I leave you with one final piece of advice. Raise your children to love you for who you are, not for your money. Signed, your mother, who pretended to believe your fake love." The sons and daughters-in-law stood frozen, staring in absolute horror. Their years of fake devotion yielded nothing, and their mother had the last laugh. Moral of the story: respect and care for your parents out of love, not for what you can inherit. True love cannot be bought with wealth, and greed ultimately leaves you empty. Remember, the way you treat your parents is how your children will treat you. So, friends, what did you think of Sarah's ultimate decision? Do you think she should have given her wealth to her children despite their behavior? Or was she absolutely right to give it to the poor and teach her family a lesson? Let us know your valuable opinions in the comments section below. If this story touched your heart, please drop a like and share it. For more emotional and interesting stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel. I will see you all again with another great story. Until then, take care.